I am afraid of my life, Mr. Chair, and the life of my relatives and my friends and classmates. Leonardo subsequently informed me that he had prepared a proposal routed to Bongo confirming the task force operation which would encompasses Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. He also inquired if he and his classmates could have a courtesy call with the president through Bongo for a photo opportunity. Considering this, I thought it prudent to invite also my classmates to join the courtesy call. So in the presence of Colonel Bakay, Villela, Grijaldo, Tuzon, and Dueñas, the member of class 97 and 96 were accommodated in separate rooms at the DPWH office in Panacan, Davao City.
Is Senator Bongo involved in Pogo and in drugs?
Sorry, Mr. Chair, maybe the title is wrong. Our title
The
of the
title is
presentation
wrong. So, ibig sabihin nito, it also would be wrong for you to include a person who is not involved in those alleged crimes. Huwag tayo magkakamali because you do not want to accuse a wrong person.
Galit po kami sa illegal na droga, galit po kami sa drug lord. Alam po ng sambayan ng Pilipino yan. Nagsiservisyo lang po ako ng maayos sa ating mga kababayang Pilipino at patuloy po ako magsiservisyo sa inyo sa abot ng aking makakaya.
Idilabas naman pahayag ni Senator Bongo ay sinabi nitong handa siyang harapin ang kaso pero dapat ay hayaan ang taong bayan ang humusga kung naging payapa at maayos ba ang pamamahala ng administrasyon ni dating Pangulong Duterte. Sa kabilang issue, tiniyak ni Senator Go na patuloy siyang maglilingkod sa bansa at magsusulong ng mga hakbang para mapabuti ang buhay ng mga Pilipino. Giit ng dalawang senador na naniniwala sila sa sistema ng hudikatura sa Pilipinas kaya handa silang humarap sa korte ng bansa para linisin ang kanilang pangalan kung kinakailangan.
A reliable informant of Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency suitably identified that Alan Lin or Alan Jeffrey Lin also uses several other identities, namely Jeffrey or Jeff Lin, Ayong, Wekshong Lin or Lin Wekshon, Alan Lim, and Wen Li Chen. Mr. Chair, Your Honors, good morning. This presentation is a compilation of information from the hearings of the Committee on Dangerous Drugs, chaired by Congressman Robert H. Barbers, Committee on Public Order and Safety, chaired by Congressman Dan Fernandez, Committee on Human Rights, chaired by Congressman Bienvenido Abante Jr., and Committee on Public Accounts, chaired by Congressman Joseph Stephen Caraps Paduano, as well as information from Senate hearings regarding dangerous drugs and Philippine offshore gaming operators or POGOs, including data from our agency and various resources. Our investigations began when 560 kilos of shabu worth 3.6 billion pesos were seized in a joint operation of the National Bureau of Investigations, Bureau of Customs, the National Intelligence Coordinating Agency, and the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency in Mexico, Pampanga, in September 24, 2023. After a controlled delivery operation, the boxes of drugs containing shabu were seized in a warehouse owned by Willie Ong, which was constructed on land previously owned by the Tumang family in Pampanga. Willie Ong, also known as Kai Kui Meng, is one of the 5 identified incorporators of Empire 999 Realty Incorporated. Another incorporator of Empire 999 is IDT Young, IDT Young is an incorporator of two other companies, Golden Sun 999, Realty and Development Corporation, and Yatay Industrial Park Incorporated for their land acquisition. Aside from IDT Young, another incorporator of Golden Sun 999 Realty and Development Corporation is Rose Nono Lin. Rose Nono Lin is also an incorporator of Parmalee Pharmaceutical, which rose to notoriety when it bagged 13 contracts from the government worth a total of 11 billion. All supplies for COVID response during the global pandemic, despite having a declared paid-up capital of only 625,000 pesos. One co-incorporator of Rose Nonolin in Parmalee Pharmaceutical Corporation is Michael Yang or Hong Meng Yang. Rose Nonolin and Michael Yang are also co-incorporators of a certain Alan Lin in Piley Holdings Corporation. Alan Lin is the husband of Rose Nonolin. A reliable informant of Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency positively identified that Alan Lin or Alan Jeffrey Lin also uses several other identities, namely Jeffrey or Jeff Lin, Ayong, Wekshung Lin or Lin Wekshon, Alan Lim, and Wen Li Chen. According to this informant, Alan Lin is a close friend of then Special Assistant to the President, Christopher Bongo. Alan Lin is a casino junket operator who is involved in the kidnapping of high-roller Chinese gamblers in Okada, Manila. Alan Lin or Wixon Lin was involved in a case involving illegal drugs in Cavite, but this case was dismissed in 2015. Further, Alan Lin allegedly holds Vietnamese, Burmese, and Cambodian passports. Alan Lim and Michael Yang were linked by former PNP Colonel Eduardo Asierto in a drug matrix of the Johnson Chua Drug Trafficking Organization, which Asierto revealed in 2017. Johnson Chua is allegedly responsible for operating a drug warehouse in Cagayan de Oro City, the Shabu clandestine laboratory raided by PDEA in Dumoy, Davao City in 2004, and another Shabu laboratory in Bunawan, Davao City. Michael Yang handled shipping requirements for Johnson Chua, while Alan Lim, who was connected to Yang, operated a clandestine Shabu laboratory in Cavite. Yang Jianxin, also known as Tony Yang or Antonio Maestrado Lim, is a sibling of Michael Yang. Tony Yang is allegedly the owner of a Pogo in Cagayan de Oro City and affiliated to Mr. Johnson Chua, the same Chua who is a known smuggler and implicated in the dismantled clandestine Shabu laboratory in Dumoy, Davao City in 2004. Hong Jing Yang is another sibling of Michael Yang. Hong Jiang Yang is also an incorporator of Fullwind Group and Piley Estate Group. The Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission provided information that Hong Jiang Yang and a certain Yao Sheng Kan transferred funds to the company Baoful Land Development Incorporated. Later, investigations revealed that the incorporator of Baoful Land is Alice Lial Guo or Guo Waping, the former mayor of Bamban, Tarlac. Baofu Land Development Incorporated is the real estate company that leased its compound to the POGO licensee Hongxing Gaming Technology Incorporated, later renamed Zun Yuan Technology Incorporated. According to Senator Risa Hontiveros, the money amounting to 3.3 billion pesos from Hong Kong, from Hong Jiangyang and Yu Chengkan was used to bankroll Hongxing Gaming Technology Incorporated. Hongxing Gaming Technology Incorporated built the Pogo Complex in Bamban, which was raided on March 13, 2024. The Anti-Money Laundering Council released the results of its investigation last July 2024 and identified several companies linked via financial instruments and transactions to Ms. Alice Go. One company identified by the AMLAC caught the attention of Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency. RMCE Metal Products Trading Company, which received fund transfers from Alice Go through QJJ Farm and her personal bank accounts. QJJ Farm is owned by Alice Go. RMCE Metal Products had been previously investigated by AMLAC and PDEA for having financial interactions with accounts of Concepcion M. Chua and her husband, Ronnie Chua. The Chua accounts had been previously identified by PDEA as instruments used for money laundering by convicted Chinese drug lord Wu Tuan Yuan, better known as Peter Ko. These accounts are the subject of money laundering cases, even as Peter Ko is serving his drug sentence in Sablayan Penal Farm in Occidental Mindoro. That ends.
Habang nasa usapin tayo ng pera, taliwas po sa sinasabi ng iba, ni minsan po, hindi po ako authorized, hindi ako humahawak ng pera. Sinasagot ko lang po ito dahil sa mga pagdinig, no, na nababanggit po ang ating pangalan. Never po ako nag-handle ng budget of finance matters, kahit nung mayor pa po si Pangulong Duterte. Taliwas din po sa sinasabi ng iba. And in fact, maraming nadadamay. Si Muking, who is not employed in the Senate, was personnel in the office of the President noon, at tulad ko, scheduling, administrative work, mga clerical work. I'm sure lahat kayo nagpapa-appointment po sa amin through Muking noong unang panahon. Sobrang busy po yon. Marami pong opisyal na lumalapit sa amin at even during the time of the pandemic, no, kailangan ng tulong at hindi po namin tinatanggihan yan. Sa abot ng aming makakaya ay pinapansin po namin lahat ng hinaing. Nais ko rin klaruhin ang naging trabaho o role ko po sa administrasyon ni dating Pangulong Duterte. I was appointed and faithfully served as Special Assistant to the President or SAP from 2016 to 2018 as per Section 2 of Executive Order 2016-01 as SAP. I exercise mere oversight functions of 3 independent and cross-functional offices, of which are OSAP, Office of the Appointment Secretary, and Presidential Management Staff. As stated in the Executive Order creating OSAP, our functions were limited to scheduling, appointments, and presidential engagements. Our mandate did not include sensitive matters like police operations. Walang kinalaman po ang aking opisina o sinumang staff nito noon sa operasyon at organisasyon sa government security sector, mapamilitary o kapulisan, whether directly or indirectly, we had no participation in these operations. In 2018, I left the executive branch when I resigned in order to run for and eventually be elected as senator in 2019 as a legislator and chairman of the Committee on Health during the time of COVID-19 pandemic. I supported and coordinated closely with the executive branch to be able to formulate policies and legislation that would improve our response to the pandemic. We passed Republic Act 11469 or the Bayanihan to Heal as One law Republic Act 11494 or the Bayanihan to Recover as One Law, and Republic Act 11712 or the Public Health Emergency Benefits and Allowances for Healthcare Workers Act, among others. Beyond my mandate as a senator, nangako po ako kay Pangulong Duterte na hindi ko po siya iwanan at lalay pa rin po ako sa kanya sa pangangailangan niya po in my own personal capacity. Kaya naman po, sinasamahan ko siya at kadalasan po ay sa personal ko po itong kapasidad at lalong-lalo na po sa kanyang mga pangangailangan medikal, lalo na po na tumatanda na siya, kakaedad na po si Pangulong Duterte at pangako ko sa kanya noon at hanggang ngayon ay hindi ko po siya pababayaan. I am one of the most accommodating persons. Alam niyo po yan. Bukas po ang aking opisina, kahit alas 12 ng gabi, pwede kayong tumawag sa akin. Karamihan po sa inyo, maging mga kasamahan natin sa lower house, ako po ang nakasanayang tawagan kung may gusto po silang iparating kay Pangulong Duterte, kahit senador na po ako. Invitation sa birthday, at lahat ng mga reklamo, pinapakinggan ko po yan. Siyempre, hindi ko naman alam ang lahat ng sagot sa mga reklamo. Kahit si former President Duterte, hindi niya rin po lahat alam sa dami po ng kanyang ginagawa. Kaya naman, kung may mga gustong magpa-verify ng mga information, maraming reklamo, scammers, manloloko, extortionists, we refer it to CIDG, NBI, doon tayo tumatawag para malaman ng information. Ito siguro ang tinutukoy ng mga ilang opisyal, no? Including Police Colonel Leonardo, na sisikapin nating sisiyatin, no? Dahil sa amin talaga lumalapit at humihingi ng tulong. Kahit nung nasa Office of the President pa ako, kapag may concerns or reports that are confidential in nature, pinapasa ko po yan sa kinauukulang ahensya. All reports na directed kay President Duterte, siya lang po ang pwedeng magbasa, classified information, or documents ang tawag dyan. Ngayon, nandito po tayo para malaman kung may naging pang-aabuso ba sa hanay ng kapulisan at nagamit ba ito sa pansariling interest. With this information, we can then craft the necessary legislation to better serve our countrymen. As Chairman of the Committee on Health and Demography and Vice Chairperson of the Committee on Public Order and Dangerous Drugs, we want to find ways to improve our continuing fight against illegal drugs through the creation of meaningful policies. As we know, the drug menace is also a health issue. Drug dependents should be treated as victims in dire need of medical, psychological, and spiritual help, with a chance of being successfully reintegrated into society as healthy and productive citizens. Para itong sakit sa lipunan na ayaw nating kumalat. Kagaya ng kahit anumang sakit, importante po dito ang prevention at early detection. Maghanap po tayo ng paraan para hindi lumala at hindi malulong ang ating mga kababayan dito. Tulungan natin gumaling at magbagong buhay ang mga nalulong sa droga. The past administration had shown equal concern for the rehabilitation and reintegration of drug dependents by directing executive branch of the government to support the establishment of drug abuse treatment and rehabilitation centers. Meron pong mga rehabilitation centers na ipinatayo, umpisa pa lang po ng administrasyon ni dating Pangulong Duterte. Kasama na po dyan ang sa Bukidnon, malaking tulong po si Senator Mig Zubiri dyan, Nueva Ecija, and Las Piñas. Kaya lang po, sa kalagitnaan, hindi na po nagamit itong mga rehabilitation centers sa Nueva Ecija. Kalahati lang po ang na-occupy. Ang war on drugs ay dapat whole of government, whole of nation approach, kaya may rehabilitation at reintegration. In fact, former President Duterte issued Executive Order Number 4 creating an interagency task force for the establishment and support of drug abuse treatment and rehabilitation centers. We saw the biggest voluntary surrender of more than 1 million drug users and personalities, which is a feat that has never been seen in the country's history. Ang dami pong sumurrender nun. Kay then CPNP. 1.6 million po ang sumurrender. First 6 months po ito. Kulang na kulang nga po yung mga lugar, no, kung saan sila magsusurrender. Nagkulang po ang mga preso dahil sa dami po ng nagsurrender. Nagsurrender po sila dahil sa paniniwala nila na seryoso po ang war against drugs ni Pangulong Duterte. Bilang mambabatas, trabaho natin na suriin ang mga pulisiya laban sa droga noon at ngayon. At makagawa ng mga bagong batas na kinakailangan upang maisulong ang drug abuse prevention, mapagtibay ang law enforcement, masagip ang mga nabibiktima upang magbagong buhay at mapalakas ang rehabilitation efforts. Bigyan po natin sila ng pagkakaroon na magbagong buhay po. For my part, as early as 2019, I already filed a bill, Senate Bill 428, which would establish drug abuse treatment and rehabilitation centers in every province. I also filed Senate Bill 2115 to have vocational and livelihood programs for rehabilitated drug dependents. Bilang chairman po ng Committee on Health, Sports and Youth, naniniwala po ko na isang health concern po na maaring matugunan sa pamamagitan ng maayos na rehabilitation at maging sa pag-promote sa sports. Hanggang ngayon po, sa kakaikot ko po sa buong Pilipinas, isa rin po ako sa author at co-sponsor ng National Academy of Sports. Iniinganyo ko talaga mga kabataan to get into sports, stay away from drugs, to keep us healthy and fit. This approach is also in line with the trust of this administration that attention must be also directed towards the rehabilitation and recovery of victims. Apart from the accessibility of facilities, ito po ay napaka-importante. Sana po ay magtulungan tayo dito. We also have to look into the process to be admitted to these centers. Currently, a commitment order from the court is required to be admitted to rehab centers. Marami pong mga drug user ang gustong magpa-rehab, pero napakahaba po ng proseso. Kaya kadalasan, naisip nila na wag na lang magpa-rehab. Ang resulta, try to heal on their own. Walang intervention, bahala na. Kailangan nating ayusin ito dahil time is of the essence sa mga gustong magbagong buhay. We also have to look into mandatory counseling for victims and empower DSWD to help victims of this societal ill. As chairman of the Senate Committee on Youth, I also suggest crafting laws that would include in the school curriculum the knowledge and information necessary to prevent vices such as illegal drugs. We, as legislators, must work together to prevent abuse of power and protect and respect and uphold human rights. I have consistently worked to increase the budget for the operations of the Philippine National Police and the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Our efforts must be geared towards fulfilling their mandate in accordance with the law. Gamitin natin po ang investigasyong ito at hearing na ito upang siguraduhin walang pang-abusong mangyayari tungo sa ating isang hangarin na labanan po ang droga. I urge both houses of Congress, magtulungan po tayo dito. Kilala niyo po ako. I am committed to developing accessible rehabilitation centers for individuals facing drug addiction, and I am more so dedicated to ensuring the protection of and respect for human rights. Again, I am one with this committee in finding out the truth in the hopes that we could craft meaningful legislation for our beloved citizens.
Laging sinasabi nitong si Bongo, hayaan na lang ang tao ang humusga. Bakit? Tao ba ang huhusga? Di ba dapat ang korte? Lagi na lang sinasabing gano'n kasi alam niyo po, paawa effect yun. Kasama yon sa kanilang propaganda na kunwari ang taong bayan gustong-gusto ang pamamahala ni Digong noong siya ang presidente. Yun nga yung pinakamalaking budol. Dahil akala nga ng mga Pilipino, para talaga kayo sa mga mahihirap. Yun pala, ilululong nyo lang ang mga tao sa pinagbabawal na pulburon at sila ang gagawin yung mga, kumbaga sila lang yung mga lilikidahin dahil nga po, yung mga mayayaman, big time user, sila ang bida sa administrasyon ni Digong. Huwag kang paawa effect, Bongo. Masyado ka nang maraming nilokong mga Pilipino sa mga paawa effect mo, pati yung issue sa PhilHealth. Sabi mo, kawawa ang mga mahihirap. Bakit? Inabolish na ba ang PhilHealth? Tinanggal na ba ang PhilHealth sa Pilipinas? Nagsara na ba? Hindi naman Subsidy lang ang hindi binigay ng gobyerno. Pero may budget pa rin ang PhilHealth dahil 6 bilyon ang natutulog doon sa kanilang mga bangko. Ikaw talaga, Bongo, puro kabugukan eh. Ha? Kaya hindi na ako magtataka kung ngayong 2025 hindi ka na mananalo.